LSU basketball picks up a commitment in the transfer portal. They lose another one to the transfer portal as well in Sharif O'Neal. We will tell you about that coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Last night was opening night for Jay Johnson's radio show. That was over at TJ Ribs. The new LSU head baseball coach was out meeting with the public for the first time on his radio show after a very successful weekend for the Tigers as they travel down to Gainesville and take 2 or 3 from Florida in dramatic fashion. I thought that the offense was explosive on Saturday and Sunday and really got an opportunity to look at some new arms over the weekend as well. We welcome in Coach Jay Johnson back to the program here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Coach, good morning. Thank you for your time as always.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What did you learn about your squad over the last 3 games in your first road trip in the SEC?
Yeah, obviously tough environment. Florida, just to be quite frank, is one of the programs that we need to try to catch back up to. So to go in there and win 2 from a program standpoint is a big deal. But in the shorter term, and probably more important for now, we played a complete game in all 3 phases. Had a good offense for the most part. I mean, we've only had 2 games all year where we've scored less than 4 runs. So that showed up in a big way on Saturday and Sunday. Defensively, Saturday and Sunday we made 1 error. The 1 error was made with the game well in hand. So much better job by our defense. On the pitching side, we finally got some length out of some pitchers, which really simplified the rest of the game. And big tip of the hat to Sam Dutton and Grant Taylor on Sunday for going out there and against a good offensive team, only giving up 5 hits and 2 runs, and really allowed us to dominate the game, from start to finish and to win that series. And then, from a competitive standpoint, I've said this before we had even played a game, you could tell there's a lot of growing up to do within the team and the players and the program. And I believe that we did take a step in that direction. But baseball is not a game that you have it. It's a day-to-day deal, and it's about the team that plays the best that day. And so we need to do that again tonight.
Coach, you mentioned some of your new arms that you got to look at on Sunday. Samuel Dutton and Grant Taylor combined to limit Florida to only 2 runs as you guys won 11-2 over in Gainesville. How much is that? And your comments after the game was, I wish they would have done that in the fall. We would have known. How much do you continue to learn about your team here, these new faces, even though you've been around them for a couple of months, but they're proving and showing you things that can get them into the lineup and get them on the field each day?
Yeah, for sure. That's part of it. No matter if it's your first year, your 20th year, you're always learning things about your team. And I've always tried to kind of have this mentality, like, we're going to try to win every single game that we play. But while we're doing it, we need to learn what's our best team, how to line the pieces up better, what guys can handle certain situations, what guys can handle certain types of coaching, and go out and execute. And so we're getting there in that regard. I think with both of those guys, the carrying tool is their competitiveness and their makeup. They do have 3 pitches that they throw for strikes. You could see that even maybe as they were getting hit by our lineup, which is a good lineup. But it's been great to see their early season success for both Grant and for Sam.
Coach, you made a move in your infield. You mentioned the errors, the lack of errors that you had Saturday and Sunday. Thompson slides over to second base, and you moved Doty into the middle of the infield at shortstop. What was the thought behind that, and how did you like it after the move?
Yeah, I mean, like the thought behind it was like we've lost games because of our defense, and I want to win every game that we play, as I just said. I believe very much in Jordan. I believe very much in Cade, and both of them I could see becoming major league players someday. I really believe that. I think for Jordan, who's having a great year offensively, and for him, he has made a massive leap and set a bunch of big hits for us. I just believe that it would slow the game down for him on that side of the diamond. He's got good actions. He's got good arm strength. And it did. I mean, Florida had 4 really good left-handed hitters. We were playing some pretty extreme shifts on. You look out there and you see Jordan, and you feel pretty good about that. And then Cade is just a tough-minded player and a very good player. And so if we put him at any position on the field, he would kind of try to figure it out in a way that was going to help us win. And I don't know that he's a natural shortstop, but I do know he's going to give us everything we got. He's going to do it with a tough mindset. And I think for now, for our program, that's more important than any type of tool.
Your headliners are smashing the ball, or they did over the weekend. Dylan Cruz, Jacob Berry, even Thompson. And Coach Braden Joubert continues to be a very consistent piece for you in the lineup. I think a lot of people expected Berry and Doty and Trey Morgan and Dylan Cruz to give you this pop and power. Joubert's been consistent. What can you tell us about him and what he gives you in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, we won that weekend because of Braden. Like, it just kind of cut right through it. Not just the homers and the RBIs, but when they came were really, really critical times. He made a small adjustment this week. It's one we've kind of been working on since we've been here, to be honest with you. He's been able to do it at times, got off to a good start. The pitching ramped up quickly, went through a little bit of a dry spell for a little bit, but he's a good kid. He's a good competitor, wants to win, and wants to be great. You mentioned those four guys, and, he'll say to me, like, hey, I want to be thought of in the same way. Pretty good step towards that this weekend, for sure. So very happy for Braden. Really pleased with the work that he put in. Even Saturday morning at the ballpark, took some guys over there around 11. He was one of them, and to see it pay off immediately like that, I just think speaks to his ability and hopefully where he's going as a player.
Where are you from just an approach standpoint on your pitching staff going into the weekend? I know that you're kind of tinkering with money. Where is he from a health standpoint, and kind of how do you feel about your rotation with this an early week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, that changes the week for sure. When you look at, it gets on you a day earlier. The two guys that threw Sunday will not be available on Thursday. It's not in their best interest. You think Blake will go on Friday, on Thursday, and then Mikhail will factor into one of those two games. As we always do, I want to look at Auburn a little closer. They can hurt you. They have power. They're playing very well right now. They won 2 out of 3 at Texas A&M. Probably could have swept that series. The game they were losing, they were up 4-0 late, I believe. So we got to make sure we hit it right. And I'm not going to box myself into something that's not beneficial for our team. But I was pleased with our pitching throughout the weekend to go in there and only give up 17 hits in a very, very offensive ballpark to a team with, probably like us. There's 4 probably major league players in that lineup is a really good accomplishment for our pitching staff, and pleased with how all the guys contributed to that.
You announced that Devin Fontenot will get the ball tonight. What do you expect from him as he gets to start versus ULM? And what are the challenges that the Warhawks present to you?
Yeah, we want to get off to a good start is the first and foremost thing. He did not pitch over the weekend. He did pitch well out of the bullpen in that Louisiana Tech game last Wednesday. We're not closing the book on anything that could happen down the road, whether using, different starters, openers, those types of things. So I think it'll be good for him to start the game. We obviously have to pitch him with in mind that we will need him on the weekend against a very good Auburn offensive team. So it'll be a pitch count type deal. And then we'll pass along to a few other guys. I mean, we did get through the weekend without using Devin, Eric, Riley Cooper. So that's a good thing, relative to tonight's game. But with the game coming Thursday, you also got to be smart about how you use everybody. In terms of ULM, they played a really good schedule. They played a couple at Ole Miss. They played a series at Missouri. They just played a series against Coastal Carolina. Played Louisiana Tech in a midweek a couple weeks ago. Aggressive team, try to steal a lot of bases, so we got to manage the running game. The best way to defend the stolen base is to not let guys get on base. So hopefully our pitchers can attack the zone and do that.
Coach, you have forgotten more baseball than we'll ever know. You have seen and been in more experiences in baseball than we'll ever imagine. Have you ever seen or been a part of a team that's been hit by pitches like yours have, and then kind of over the weekend what that was about? I don't want to set something up for you, but it was just weird, right?
Yeah, I've gotten that question a lot. Yeah. I mean, it is part of our offensive deal, and I will say that. Uh-huh. With that being said, I don't know that I've ever seen 8 in one game by,
right.
Predominantly one of the best pitching staffs in the country over the last 15 years. So that is a little strange, but it's a competitive deal, man. There's a good atmosphere there. The ballpark's nice, and, they're in the top 10, and our guys want to play better. And so, I mean, I think some kids probably just got going, running a little hot, and I just like the way our guys answered. The best way we could answer is continue to take quality at bats and separate the game, and that's what our players did. So I was very pleased with that.
Coach, you mentioned the way that your guys answered. Was there a temperament in the dugout where it's like kind of woke the boys up a little bit? Because you were, I don't want to say you were struggling, but coming off a loss on Wednesday, then you lose on Friday, then, you start getting plunked a little bit. It gets a little dicey. Were you happy to see the way your team responded that way?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, really, the message was pretty simple going into Saturday. It's like, hey, look, like, we got to attack the game better than we are. I mean, Wednesday's game against La Tech, that's one of the worst regular season losses I've ever had personally. I mean, we're down 4, we come back, we're up 6-4. A couple of things go wrong, get into extra innings, have a chance to win twice, don't do it. And they're a good team. Like, it's not taking anything away from them. They'll be in the NCAA tournament. They have a chance to host a regional again. But then to get on the plane and then you're staring Hunter Barco in the face, who's really good. And he kicked us in the teeth. I thought we competed fine, but he got us. And it was like, hey, look, like, we're not waiting for something to go wrong. And the level of engagement needs to rise from everybody. And I think that it did. And it doesn't mean that everything's fixed and all that, because the players have to recommit to it on a daily basis. That's what makes baseball unique. But I was pleased with what they did. And for me, it's like, hey, hopefully there's some positive reinforcement of what you can do. Now just do you have the self-discipline to continue to do that. And I'm looking forward to see that tonight.
Tigers outscored Florida 27-6 over the final 2 games on the weekend.
The boys up.
They whooped them on Saturday and Sunday. I know that everything's about the Warhawks today. Do you have a chance to peek ahead to Auburn? If so, what are the challenges that War Eagle presents coming in Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, I think they're kind of hungry. They had a tough year last year. They really went to work in the transfer portal. Got a few week head start on it for me. I was in Omaha and then getting the job here after the College World Series. So they have a couple players that have transferred in both on the mound and at the plate that add that 23-year-old player to your maturity dynamic to your rotation or to your lineup. They've swung the bat very well. I got a chance to peek a little bit at their Thursday night game a couple weeks ago against Ole Miss. So they have some hitters that can hurt you. They have some big arms on the mound. They're kind of like us from the pitching standpoint, doing it a little unconventionally, like with some openers and cutting the game up. I expect it to be a tremendous challenge. They got a great record. They won 2 out of 3 at A&M. Could have swept that series, as I said. Played Ole Miss tough the weekend before, so we got a good challenge staring us in the face starting on Thursday.
Coach Jay Johnson and LSU improved to 17-7 overall last weekend, taking 2 of 3 from Florida. They will set up tonight versus ULM. That first pitch, 6:30 from the box, and then LSU at home for the weekend. Remember, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3-game set coming your way between the Tigers and Auburn, starting on Thursday, 6 o'clock from Alex Box Stadium. Coach Jay Johnson and the Tigers looking to keep it rolling. Thank you, as always, for the time on game day, Coach. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. There he is, Jay Johnson,
Coach,
checking in.
We'll be there Friday if you want to come to Earl's before the game.
a little pregame.
Get a little booze.
That's good to hear from Coach Jay Johnson. That conversation brought to you by Edward Jones. Remember our friends over at Edward Jones. Get in touch with Daniel Newman. It's tax season. You're looking for some help and some direction here during